I am absolutely delighted, a little bit later than we thought, but we've actually got Emma Hillier on the phone from us, and we're going to be speaking 13th of October, that's today, is officially secondary Breast Cancer Day, and it's the only one day in Breast Cancer Awareness Month that officially recognises secondary breast cancer. So Emma, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you've been a bit busy over the last couple of days.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure and delight. Thank you very much for coming on Radio Bath this morning. So you are one of the ambassadors, aren't you, for MetUpUK?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, secondary breast cancer. I mean, you're only getting one day of awareness, and breast cancer itself is also, it's quite, it gets a lot of profiling and a lot of media attention as well. But secondary, I've not heard too much of a secondary awareness. So can you tell us a little bit about it, and also why it's not given, the support that probably it could? It's only given one day a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult really, because I'm an advocate for raising awareness about breast cancer, full stop.
Yes.
But now, as a secondary patient myself, there is a lack of awareness raising for women or men, because obviously men can get it too.
Indeed,
in our position. I can't tell you for sure why that is. No. I have an inclination that it's that, the primary breast cancer is very often curable. Secondary breast cancer isn't. It's terminal.
Right.
I feel like perhaps people focus more on the idea of the element of breast cancer that you can cure rather than the one that is the killer, because it's probably the one that sells more pink items in the shops. I
guess you're right, actually. I mean, it's a very emotional topic, really, isn't it? As well, in itself. I've looked at some of the figures as well, and they're astounding, really, aren't they, Emma? And
yeah, they are. I mean, 31 people a day die from secondary breast cancer, which is why MetUpUK are running the I Stand By the 31 campaign all through Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but particularly today. And it's why they've run their Darker Pink we're running the Darker Pink campaign, which unfortunately I couldn't attend to have my picture and video done because I was having heart surgery, which is the nature of secondary breast cancer.
Oh, my...
surprise you.
Goodness.
I couldn't go on the day because I was having heart surgery because of the symptoms of my cancer. So, yeah, that just goes to show you that, you can be plodding along thinking you're off to Manchester for a photo shoot. You're ending up in a very different place.
And was did that catch you unaware, Emma? I mean,
It did, yeah. I mean, the thing with secondary breast cancer, which I think probably a lot of people don't understand, or potentially don't understand, is that you are on treatment for life.
Yes.
Each of those treatments has a limited time span that it will work for everybody. In some people that's shorter, in some people it's longer. It very much depends on how your individual cancer behaves. For me, it's fairly short. I'm on my 4th line of treatment now in a year.
Wow.
My cancer it just behaves very badly. So, and I think people don't understand that. I think they just think, we go and have more chemotherapy and they push the cancer back, but that's not how it works. You have a drug until it stops working, and then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then you run out.
Emma, I think, as a male listener to what you're saying, I mean, I certainly didn't appreciate this, just for those who may be unaware, I mean, the cancer that metastasizes is one that's come from somewhere else, yeah, so that makes it secondary cancer. I did not know that the secondary cancer was so much more difficult to treat than a primary cancer in the breast.
It's treatable, it's not curable. So primary cancer, so any cancer that's a primary cancer is the cancer that stayed within the site in which it originated. So for breast cancer, which is the one I obviously know the most about, primary breast cancer is when it's in your breast and in the localized lymph nodes, which tend to be the ones in your armpit. At that point, breast cancer in very many patients is very treatable and very curable. Secondary or metastatic cancer is when the cancer spreads from the original site. In my case, it's in my liver, my brain, and having discovered in the last month, due to all the troubles around my heart, it's now in kind of the lining of the fluid around my heart.
Oh my goodness.
until breast cancer spreads from beyond that site of the breast and those lymph nodes, then it's primary, and then when it spreads, it's secondary. But once it's spread, it can't be cured. It can be treated and symptoms can be managed, but it's all about, they call it, and as it sort of gets on and on, it turns into palliative care, which is more about treating your symptoms rather than hoping to eradicate the cancer.
It must be very difficult for you to talk about, so thank you so much for joining us. I mean, literally, I had absolutely no idea the difference, so thank you for explaining that to us, Emma.
No, of course, and I think that this is why MetUpUK do what they do, to explain to people, to raise awareness for primary patients who maybe don't. I mean, I didn't know what the symptoms of secondary breast cancer were. I had no idea when I finished my primary treatment. I just skipped off them thinking, brilliant, I'm done.
Yeah, understandably,
Which you do, because we will have to look for the positive as well. And I mean, like Tim has just said, thank you so much for coming on, because this is quite an emotional, and also, you're very not brave, but it's just phenomenal that you can sort of speak about it as well. Because I mean, we've got like our I'm sort of like my breaths in I'm catching my breath, because this is quite emotional, really. But it's just fantastic that you are such a great ambassador as well, and you're fighting through this as well. And we are wishing you all the best with that, Emma. And you've got so much to do at the moment, but you're taking the time out. I mean, yesterday I was going to give you a call, but you were having treatment yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, I had a surgical procedure to have something called a port put in, which basically means they don't have to scramble around for veins every time I have chemo. And then I had chemo in the afternoon, so
it's like, and we think we've got things going on in our life, but you're just remarkable, Emma. I can't say any more than that. And also so tell us a little bit more how MetUpUK, are raising more awareness. Where can we go to find out more information at this? Because Sorry, interrupting them.
No,
it's fine.
To get the information out there, MetUpUK have a website which is www.metupuk.org.uk. The things that MetUpUK campaign and push for are awareness for secondary breast cancer for people who don't know the red flags. There's also a site called ABCD Diagnosis, which has lots of infographics which have all the symptoms. In fact, it was that site that led me to think, I'm not sure about this pain that I'm getting. We talk about things like drug access, because we have an infinite number of drugs that we can access.
Okay.
For example, for my situation, I have a very specific genetic mutation. There are 2 drugs that could really help me. They aren't available on the NHS.
Really? And
no, they aren't available on the NHS. There's options, I could access them privately, but who's got $3,000 a month, lying around?
Really? That's how much it costs for these, to help you get through this, and also, make it a little bit easier.
MetUpUK campaign for drug access. I don't know if you may have heard, there's a drug called Trodelvy which is being campaigned for, because it massively increases prognosis, or it can massively increase the prognosis of triple negative breast, because lots of different types of breast cancer. People who've got secondary triple negative breast cancer, their current only option is chemotherapy. They can't have targeted treatment. This is a targeted treatment that's working really well. But it's not going to be approved, I think, over here until 2022, 2023.
Really?
Emma, does that mean that NICE haven't approved it yet?
No, I think I'm not 100% sure. I think it's been approved. I think you can get it on things like compassionate access if your oncologist is willing to fight for you, or you can pay for it. But no, NICE haven't approved it for NHS.
No, dear.
Or it's not available in the NHS, and there's a big campaign running, and it's all being run by people like MetUpUK and secondary breast cancer patients who are pushing and fighting. Some of the girls that I know did an open video letter to the CEO of Gilead, Gilead, I don't know how you say it, I said it wrong now.
That's all right. We'll go with the first one.
Who manufacture the drug. It's about making clear signposts to access for clinical trials, because I don't know what clinical trials are available for me.
No.
There could be clinical treatment, because I've had treatment in Bristol where I live, and I've had some treatment at the Marsden in London, and it's like, two completely different sites.
Yeah.
And the treatment available at one is so much better than the treatment available at another. And the main thing that as well that MetUpUK have been behind, and it's actually getting somewhere, because I don't know if you've seen recently, they started saying they're going to count the numbers of patients that have got secondary breast cancer, because at the moment there's no data. There's no data to how many of us have it, how many of us are living with it, how long we're living. So statistics for it are so out of date.
Wow.
You Google and they say to you, if you've got brain mets, you've got 2 months left. Well, that's rubbish, because I was diagnosed with brain mets 4 months ago and I've had treatment. Do you see what I mean?
And that's helped. Yeah. So you need to be brought up to date really with statistics really, and then therefore we can push forward a little bit. And this is obviously what MetUpUK is doing, and then supporting. And
they are. And bear in mind, all the women in MetUpUK, we've got some ladies that are primary and support us, but most of MetUpUK are made up of people who are doing the same as me. They're having treatment, they're having chemo, they're having procedures, and they're putting their time into this. I mean, they're a wonderful group of women. We have this WhatsApp group where we all support each other.
What a wonderful, wonderful group of women and men, joined together, coming together, and that must help as well, because you're all going through it. I guess, and
it is. It's incredibly helpful, and that's my aim really. I've got an Instagram account where I post a lot about what's going on. I think it's a bit too honest for some people sometimes, but I think it's important to get the message out there about what it's really like.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think quite often breast cancer in general can be glamorised.
Yes.
And I promise you it's no fun.
No, I'm absolutely sure that it isn't any fun. And, just hearing a little bit more about secondary breast cancer today has really opened my eyes. Like I said, there's moments when I've got my heart in my mouth there, because, it is really emotional to be speaking to yourself, knowing that you've been going through that, but also what an ambassador you are, and how, strong, and the fact that you're keeping going. And that's just remarkable. That's all we can sort of say, and send you all of our best, and keep going and keep telling people. So your Instagram page, if anybody wants to have a look at that, Emma.
It's Pepe's _mama versus cancer. That's me. Pepe is my son, who isn't actually called Pepe. His name is Joseph.
Okay.
There's a very long, boring story about why he's called Pepe, which I won't bore you with. But he's my motivation. Him and my husband are my motivation and my world to keep going. He's only 3, so.
Oh my goodness!
He needs his mama around for as long as possible.
Absolutely.
That's why you keep going.
Absolutely, Emma. Can I just say, obviously we can't be political here on Radio Bath, but I just think it's an absolute tragedy that they won't pay the £3,000 a month for the treatment, because if we look at where government money is spent, I think, without being political, I think that money could quite easily be saved elsewhere, but that's just my opinion. So please,
I'm sure it could.
Keep on fighting, Emma. Keep on fighting. You're an absolute superstar.
When you think about the fact that there's no data around secondary breast cancer, and you look at the data they were able to produce every day on those flipping COVID.
Absolutely.
COVID slides that we all saw 9,000 times a day, and they can't, and they still say it's going to take them 2 to 3 years to gather the data. Well, sorry, to be frank, I'll probably be dead by then, so it's not going to help me. Do you see what I mean? That's what we're dealing with.
And that's so hard-hitting as well. I mean, we need to sort of raise that awareness, and you're doing everything you can, so are the wonderful people around you. And, we will do everything we can to help support, because this really does need a real kick, doesn't it? And that's putting it politely. Emma, you've been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Keep us up to date and everything. We'll be talking again soon with you, seeing how we can support you here at Radio Bath.
Brilliant, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, and also just to remind us again, people can donate, can they, to help with treatments, and they can go to MetUpUK?
I don't know if MetUpUK have a donation button, but we can certainly put one on my Instagram page, or I can ask the girls at MetUpUK to put a donation button, because we're a completely unfunded group.
Yep. Okay.
So everything we do is out of our own time, and resources, really.
Looking for that support. Well, Emma, we will be sending you, this is a live interview, but, we'll send you the interview that we've just done, because I think, you said some really poignant things there. You're amazing. You're an absolute star. Emma, an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We really appreciate support from the media.
Emma, thank you so much. Thank you so much
we'll
for
be in
coming
touch.
on.
Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
And
and keep smiling.
Bye.
Bye, Emma.
Bye-bye.
Thanks ever so much.